The GrapeStars team is dynamic, youthful, energetic, disruptive. You know, it has all the buzzwords that you want in a company.
And we were also rushing back and forth to different hospitals to try to deliver the food warm. We went to great lengths to make sure that they had a warm meal.
I've been so fortunate. We've raised lots of money and granted thousands of wishes. And we won't stop.
Hello guys, welcome to another episode. You are watching the GrapeStars podcast, your home for celebrity, wine, and spirits. And as promised, we always got celebrities, but we got us. Hopefully we're celebrities to you guys. I'm Lily Fifield, I'm your host, and I got my co-host joining me today. Hi, John.
Bonjour, Lilia. Comment ça va? How are you?
I am good. I feel like we're going to get French lessons with you. We're going to learn French throughout the podcast too. That's another plus.
That's nice. Every language. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás esta mañana?
It sounds like Spanish. That's the only reason I understand it, guys. I speak Spanish. He speaks French. Sometimes he speaks French to me, and I don't know. I understand it. It sounds like Spanish, which is ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo te va? Which, go ahead. Say it in French, John.
Bonjour. Comment ça va, Lilia?
You see, it's the same thing. Okay, there's your French lesson for the day. Now let's get to some alcohol and wisdom lessons, because that's what we try to bring you. We try to bring you entrepreneurs, celebrities, and somehow we managed to do 2 for 1 today. Serial entrepreneur and a Hollywood star. John, this is exciting. What are you drinking?
Yeah, this
morning. Don't tell us. I know we're doing.
No, please. I want to say it.
Okay.
I want to say it.
Go ahead.
So I have the bottle of Post Malone. You know, this phenomenal singer. Yes. And he just launched his rosé on GrapeStars and all around the United States. But this is so good. This is amazing. This is made of France, and I love it. But speaking of love, this morning we're going to be with 2 wonderful people. Why don't you introduce them?
So I know a lot of you guys already know her. I was a big fan of hers already from Burn Notice. You guys remember that show? It was so cool. It was 2 spies, and we had Gabrielle Anwar. Of course you remember her. Gorgeous, classy, beautiful woman. And John actually remembers this very well-known Hollywood actress from an Al Pacino movie. It's The Scent of a Woman. You guys might recall that scene, that tango scene that I know John has engraved in his brain. Big fan over here. Don't fan out on us during the interview, John, okay? But we have Gabrielle Anwar. We have her husband, serial entrepreneur, and a very big part. He's in the success behind the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and somebody that John and the GrapeStars team is very fortunate to call a strategic advisor of GrapeStars, which is Shareef Malnik, and a friend to GrapeStars, which is the most important part, is that we're very fortunate to bring friends and do business and have some talks, and we're able to do that now. So let's welcome them to the show already, John.
Mesdames et messieurs, Shareef Malnik and Gabrielle Anwar.
Would you like to learn to tango, Donna?
Right now?
I'm offering you my services, free of charge. What do you say?
Hello, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today.
It's great to be here.
Pleasure.
So let's get right into it. We know it's a pandemic right now. It's something none of us have lived before. It's these new times. To me, it feels like a movie that I really want to end already. I know that you guys have been doing a lot. You guys have been keeping very busy. You guys are in the restaurant industry, and that's an area that's been hit pretty hard, but you guys have also found a way to give back. I know you've given back to first responders, and I really want to share that story because I feel like it hasn't been highlighted enough. So can you please tell us a little bit, how are you guys doing right now, and how'd you make that decision, and how was that process for you guys?
Okay, well,
you begin.
Okay, so, well, we wanted to do something. We weren't really sure how we could be impactful. You know, you could sit around and complain all day, you know, but you know, you don't really have the right to complain if you're not doing anything about it. So I think, you know, I mean, you know, that might be a very bold statement, but that's how we feel, at least about ourselves. So I said, my restaurant's closed, not because of the pandemic, it's closed because it's being renovated. So I didn't close because of the pandemic, we closed before the pandemic. So I said, you know, how do we fire this kitchen back up again and bring in some employees just to be able to do, you know, to provide some meals to first responders. Actually, we're talking about emergency room personnel, right? And so that's the front lines. And so I came home, I said, you know, I said to Gabrielle, let's do some dinners. I called up a former chef of mine, he's a Michelin-starred chef, Chris Lee, and I called a buddy of mine who owns Adelita Tequila and Duke Bourbon and whiskeys, and I said, hey, let's do this. So Chris said, okay, Adelita Tequila will sponsor it, and Chris Lee said, you know, I'll do some meals, and then Gabrielle said, well, why don't we do gourmet meals? You have a gourmet, one of the best gourmet chefs in the world. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. We're not just going to go and get a bunch of Subway sandwiches, you know.
Although that would be good too.
It would be good, but why don't we do something a little different and show them how much we really care?
Now,
Because
Gabrielle,
nobody else is doing that.
that's right. Now, Gabrielle, we all know you as a very classy lady. You know, I'm sure that you wanted to just take this to another level. What was it like to take these meals? I mean, first responders, they're going to be grateful that you guys are thinking of them regardless. But what was it like? Because I saw some of the menu. There was some lobster something, some steak something going on there. That's pretty fancy. That's really cool. So what was it like? What did they tell you guys?
Well, you know, it's interesting because they're so busy, these emergency room heroes, that they didn't have a lot of time to comment on the flavors. So, and we were also rushing back and forth to different hospitals to try to deliver the food warm. We went to great lengths to make sure that they had a warm meal. Yeah. So we really didn't hang around enough to actually get any feedback, but and from the smell of the food that we were serving, it was extraordinary. So you know what, we did our part. We didn't get to hear any compliments or get a pat on the back, and that's not why we did it. So we were out of there.
I love
that.
Yeah,
you know, like there's all kinds of giving, and sometimes, you know, and to me, you know, raising money and being involved with charities, I don't care why someone gives, because as long as they give, they're doing something really great, right? Some people like to give anonymously. Some people want to have their name on things. It's all good to me, you know. Sometimes when we're able to give without getting the accolades, it makes us feel really good. We did something that was positive, you know, and it's something I'm sure they reflected on later, that they were very much appreciative.
Oh, I agree on that. You know, John, he was telling me you guys have been giving back for years. You guys are known for giving back in Miami, and you guys have been part of the Make-A-Wish Foundation for a while now, and I know that that's something that both of you guys do. I hear that Gabrielle puts on a really nice show, and there's a theme, and you know, the community really comes around for this. John, you were telling me a little bit about this. Have you been to one of these galas already, John?
I never had the chance, but I have a lot of respect for Gabrielle and Shareef. Their involvement in the Miami scene is simply amazing. The Malnik family are highly respected in business and also in their charitable, events that they're doing. They're such a wonderful couple, and it's such an honor to have you guys on our podcast and in our company. Shareef, why don't you talk a little bit about the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and when you arrived, I think it's what, 10 years ago, you're there now?
So I've been involved with Make-A-Wish actually since the first ball that I went to 25 years ago. And ultimately I was chairman of the board, and Now I'm Chairman Emeritus, and I'm Chairman of the Ball now. This will be my 16th year. But one of the smarter things that I ever did was marry Gabrielle, because now she can co-host it with me, and we can even make even more money for our kids. So that was a really good move on my part. And she actually now has me doing all kinds of performances on stage, which I never would have done if it weren't for her. Not only that, she brings some great creative ideas to our ball. But it's the ball that we have. It's the premier ball of the season. Last year we raised $3 million at the ball. It was our record. But just to understand what we do is that we grant wishes to children with life-threatening illnesses. We give them their heartfelt wish. And there's a lot of evidence today to show that making a child happy and granting these wishes actually not only changes their perspective, not only gives them a reprieve from pain and misery and their families, but it also makes them healthier. So there's actually a physiological benefit. You know, when you have hope, you heal. And when you're hopeless, you don't heal. And what we do is we give hope to these children and their families. And I've been so fortunate. We've raised lots of money and granted thousands of wishes. And we won't stop. So we're looking forward to, we moved our ball because of the pandemic. It's normally the first weekend in November. And so we moved it to February for 2021 with the hope that, you know, God willing, that we'll be able to have a ball. Other than that, our children are still getting wishes. We're still granting them. And we're still, you know, receiving donations from people. So we're very fortunate to be able to survive the pandemic on behalf of our children.
That's beautiful. And like you said, with a lot of hope, hopefully we can have that in February, and that'll be just beautiful start of the new year, and keep giving back some wishes. And that's something that everyone needs right now. There's just a little more hope during these hard times. It's been pretty rough for a lot of people. And speaking of rough times, it was back in 2008, the recession. And you decided to go the other way. When businesses were struggling, you said, let me just invest into this restaurant, The Forge, very well known there in Miami, and let me just renew it. So what's going on? Tough times, you redo it again? I hear that you're renovating it again. So is this a strategy that's been working?
Yeah. So I didn't know the pandemic was coming. I wasn't that smart. But I did see the financial crash in 2008. And so I pivoted. You know, I think in business, it's so critical to be flexible, to understand that whatever you fixated on in terms of having a paradigm, you have to be able to change it. And if you don't, you just become obsolete and completely disrupted and extinct. So it was time to make changes at the Forge, and there are a lot of surprises that are coming. The new iteration of the Forge will be something that it's going to be bigger and better than it ever was. So we're more than 50 years old, and there's some great surprises, which I can't really talk about, but it's going to be outrageously fantastic. And you know, look for us in 2021 to come out with a huge explosion, I think, in terms of marketing and concept.
Shareef, if you don't mind, The Forge had one of the biggest wine cellar in Miami.
It's true. We've been collecting wines. You know, my dad founded the restaurant in 1968, and I took over the restaurant in 1990. And he started a wine culture at the Forge by collecting some of the most collectible Bordeaux in the world. And of course, I carried on that tradition. And I think, you know, the Forge is iconic, and one of the reasons is because of our incredible submersion into wines. And when you think about over 50 years, how many corks were popped, how many celebrations were enjoyed with wine and champagne, and great meals. So I'm really happy and proud to be part of something that had an impact on our culture and made people feel better. You know, it's all about making people feel better.
And speaking of that, you know, the Forge always is known for bringing in some pretty big names, big celebrities. And I'm not sure how you guys met, but Gabrielle, I watched you for years. I watched you on Burn Notice. It's really funny because the first time we spoke, I had no clue it was you because you have an accent. And I'm not sure a lot of people even know watching the show that you naturally have an accent, which is pretty cool talent. But you know,
Actually,
the industry.
I don't have an accent. I put on an accent when I play an American.
No, we have
Oh,
an
I love it. That's right. You don't have, we have an accent. We're the ones with the problem. Thank you.
It's true.
That is right. I guess, you know, if you think of origins, I guess we're the ones that have it. I'll make that correction there. So I wanted to ask you, you know, a lot of people know you as an actress, and it's an industry also with the restaurant industry it's been very impacted right now. I have a lot of friends right now, they're out of work, have been out of work for months. I mean, we're talking since April, since March. What advice would you have for them? You know, what encouraging words do you have for them? You've been in this industry, I'm sure there's always ups and downs. And what message would you have for those people?
Well, like Shareef just said, you have to pivot, you have to be flexible. I know that there's the Actors Fund that has been very generous with not just thespians, but also people who are in the industry. They've been helping pay rent and take care of some of those essential needs. But what I've been doing is just completely shifting my focus, and knowing that I'm not going to be in front of a camera, then I'm sort of planning a behind the scenes kind of an approach. So I've been doing a lot of writing and actually looking at some other kinds of career choices entirely, which is something that I was interested in prior to the pandemic, but now I'm just very gung-ho.
I love that. That's
So
a really good idea.
Gabrielle's very modest, by the way. So she hasn't just been doing a lot of writing. She is just churning out screenplays, novels, 6-part miniseries, her memoir. I mean, it's just, she's been a nonstop. She's written several books over the last couple of years, and she's been nonstop during this pandemic, writing, 12, 14 hours a day. It's pretty spectacular.
And you know,
well, we're so blessed. I have to say that we're so blessed. We have a house, we have a roof over our head, we have a garden, we have so many blessings that I am a homebody. I'm very hermetic and I love being home, and I've just taken advantage of my children being older and my not having to homeschool them. I mean, I don't even know what they're studying. It's way above my pay grade, but I'm just blessed and truly making a cup half full out of a situation that could have been devastating and has been to so many people.
That's right. I think it's been a time for everyone to really reflect and just be grateful for the little things. And it's been a time to kind of step back and relax a little and just see that, life doesn't have to be go, 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 which was what it was personally for me before this. And for a lot of people that I know that took a step back and are like, okay, this is not too bad. It's I feel like a pressure you might have sometimes in the industry to just keep going and move on to the next thing. But that's beautiful that you've been writing. I'm sure that we're going to be seeing all your work pretty soon here. And while we're on this topic, John, you told me a little bit about Shareef and how you feel that he has changed in the eyes of everyone that sees him since being with Gabrielle, right?
Yes, but before talking about Shareef, I want to stay with Gabrielle.
How much did she pay you to say that?
Yeah, I want to go back to Gabrielle 1 second.
Oh, her head is going to be so big.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, I'm just kidding.
There's a moment, Shareef, when Gabrielle was dancing with Al Pacino. And I remember I was in Canada. I was living in Montreal when I saw this movie. And I was in love with you. You were so beautiful and eloquent. How did you feel playing with him? How is he as an actor?
Okay, so I didn't expect being in a film for such a short amount of time, on camera. I was probably on screen for less than 3 minutes. I didn't expect any kind of impact with that short amount of time. So there was a lot of fuss around the film because it was, you know, hailed as going to be, you know, an Academy Award nominated picture. And of course, Pacino won Best Actor that year for that film. So it was surprising. It's surprising to me to this day that something that I was just, you know, like little cameo role was so impactful. And it's the only thing in my career anyone can remember.
No.
Burn notice.
What was your most amazing moment in Hollywood? What did you?
Leaving.
Oh, yes.
Awkward moment of silence.
No, I will say, no. I don't ever consider myself as being part of the Hollywood system. You know, things were very different when I was, you know, when I was in films and big, you know, box office films. My career changed dramatically when I became pregnant and I started taking much smaller roles and focusing on motherhood. And so I don't ever consider myself having ever really been in that sort of networking kind of, you know, like publicity. And of course now with social media, that whole scene was never part of my interest. So I don't really feel much of a connection to Hollywood. And now that I'm not there at all, I'm quite happy. I mean, probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
That's nice. That's nice. Anyway, I always love you. I always think you're so classy. And speaking of a classy man, I hope to respond your question, Lilia. As an entrepreneur, you always want to surround yourself with quality people to build your company. And for many years, I've been, you know, thinking to meet Shareef with my brother and my partner, Stefan. And I think with GrapeStars, it was the right moment. Shareef's got so much experience as an entrepreneur. He's involved in many business, and his charisma and how smart he is, that his advice were so important for our company. And we approached him almost a year ago, and he's a strategic advisor in GrapeStars. And, you know, now I'm going to let Shareef talk about our relationship, but he has all our respect.
Yes, we're very lucky to have him. He's very frugal in who he attaches himself to, which is why I'm so blessed. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I'll take the compliment any day
Okay.
from you. Thank you, Jean, and thank you, Gabrielle. Yeah, so listen, the GrapeStars team is dynamic, youthful, energetic, disruptive. You know, it has all the buzzwords that you want in a company. But the bottom line is, you know, in life, you invest in people. And, you know, Jean and Stefan, the co-founders, they're just incredibly dynamic people. You know, it's so hard to make anything succeed today. It's just too competitive. So if you don't have your game on, if you don't have the skill set, and if you're not willing to work, you know, those 18-hour days, and be available 24/7, you just don't really have a chance. You know, there's too many smart people out there that want it badly enough. Well, these guys want it, and I'm very, you know, honored that, you know, that they've reached out to me, and I'm part of a team that I can be proud of. So it's really interesting. It's providing a need. There's a demand out there, and I always like when people, you know, figure out a better mousetrap. You know, I mean, that's really exciting, you know, like, and then when it works, because you can put all these theories on paper, you can have all the pro formas in the world, but most of them don't work practically, right? You know, this is, you know, you come up with a great idea, 9 out of 10 of them don't work. You know, this is something that's working, you know. So it's been an honor. It's great, and I'm glad to be part of the team, John.
Yeah, that's so nice from you. And on behalf of all the team, we cannot be more thankful. Just recently, Lilia, Shareef introduced us in Hollywood, one of the most amazing company who will joint venture with GrapeStars. So that's the kind of contact that we don't have. And anyway, thank you, Shareef, for your involvement. We love you. You're a great guy, and cheers to that one.
It's mutual, my friend.
Yeah.
And with that, I think it's a beautiful note to end on with you guys. We really appreciate you guys spending some time out of your day to chat with us. It's honestly an honor to have both of you guys, this beautiful power couple, and representing two industries that really have been affected pretty hard right now during this pandemic, and showing how it's possible, how it's, you know, giving some tips for the people that are possibly be watching. And we really appreciate all the information, all the giving back. It seems like you guys just love to give back, and I'm sure that's why you guys do so well, because it all just comes back to you.
You know, if I could just leave this, like, one tip for people watching this during the pandemic, because it's affecting us all differently, you know, some more tragically than others. And so, of course, I have empathy and compassion and sympathy for those that are most affected. But however we are affected, and at varying degrees and at different scale, and we all perceive those things differently because we have different emotional, you know, makeups. But when you look at this period of time, is there anything that I can do to improve something about myself during this time? Tragically, I have more time on my hands. Tragically. Can I rise above that tragedy, okay? And can I do one thing to make myself better, so that when this is over, I can say I actually got something out of it that was positive? And I know that's hard for those that are suffering the most, but those are the ones who need that the most. Dig down deep and say, look, the tragedy is here. Me not, you know, I'm not gonna, there are certain things that I can't make go away, but I can actually utilize my time and do something, so that at the end of this, I can say I actually won something out of this. And that's what I would encourage people to do, because you may never get this opportunity again for the rest of your life. And hopefully you don't, actually. You know, so that's what that's my advice to everybody out there.
That's beautiful, Shareef. That's really amazing. Listen, Shareef, before we end, you have the University of Miami jersey today. Why don't you share what you did for me? It's so amazing, because we're not 25-year-old anymore. Go ahead.
Oh, so you know, I did something that was a little crazy. Well, I thought it was a little crazy, but it turns out it wasn't so crazy, because it was so beneficial. So I have 2 degrees from University of Miami. I have a business degree and a law degree. But in 2018, I went back and got my MBA at the university in their Global Executive MBA program, which is basically tailored towards people that are in business, executives, and we had all different kinds of great business leaders from around the world, actually. It's a global oriented class. And you know, I dropped my ego, left my ego at the door, because, you know, listen, we carry this ego thing around with us where we're too good to learn anything. And if we have that attitude, you're never going to go anywhere. So I dropped my ego. And by the way, John, they want you, because you would be a great addition to a future cohort, because you have so much to offer. So the other students have so much to offer. They're all business leaders. And I got so much out of it, because you got to update, man. You got to update. You know, my Tesla updates like every month, right? Elon Musk sends some new software to my car, and it's updated and brand new again. It's not an old car. We're driving around in these old versions of ourselves, right? You know, fixed on these old concepts and paradigms, right? You need a download, right? And we got to do a download. So how do you do that? By educating yourself. Do it online. Go to university. Buy some books. Do whatever you can, get mentors. I don't care how old you are. You know, so many people tell me, oh, you already know everything. You don't need to do that. It's like, this benefited my finance businesses, my hospitality business, and it's just, and it gives you a lot of self-esteem. You know, it makes you feel good about yourself. Hey, you know what? I can still get in there and scrap with the best of them. So very, very important, I think, is to keep educating yourself.
When I start this conversation with you, I said it was important to surround yourself with winners. When you're an entrepreneur, It's one thing to have a business. It's one thing to make money, but you make money by having people who are devoted, who believe in yourself, believe in your passion, in your team, but most of all, you know, who can bring something. We have the example this morning by having Shareef and Gabrielle, who are a phenomenal couple that I highly respect, and they are smart. And what I say to my son every week, John Jr., learning is power. And it's exactly what you just said, Shareef. Thank you so much for believing in GrapeStars. Thank you for, you know, all the time that you give us. I know you're a busy man, but let's cheers to that. And let's be in the winning circle again, okay?
That's right. And Gabrielle, we can't wait to see all that work that I'm sure is going to come up pretty soon. So you guys have to keep us updated.
No, thank you.
So this is who I brought onto my team, okay, to uplift me. Right? My wife is brilliant and positive and been nothing but a great influence on me, as you mentioned earlier. So I wanna second that.
That's the best note to end on. You did the right choice there. It looks like you guys are just the perfect couple. You can just feel the love. When we talk to you off camera, it's the same thing. You guys just seem like you guys give some good energy, and I'm sure that's why you guys do so well and everything goes so well for you guys, because that's what you give out and that's what comes back. And I hope you guys continue to have that opportunity. We really would love to see that ball, that gala happen in February. And we hope that all of those plans work out, because, I mean, you guys are just trying to do so much for other people that I hope everything just goes according to plan for you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Lily. This is an honor. John, I love you.
Love you too. Take care, guys.
John, how beautiful was that?
It was amazing. They're wonderful people, you know, well-educated, big art. They give back to the, you know, the population, but most of all, you know, they're real. And I love Shareef. I love Gabrielle, and such an honor to build our company with these quality people.
It really is. I mean, it's just wonderful to see people that are at the level that they are within their industries, both of them, and they still put themselves in other people's shoes, and they try to relate, and they try to figure out, like you said, you can't complain. You got to figure out a way to get back, to do your part. And the fact that his mind is still there, that's his mentality, says everything about them, you know?
Yeah. Yes, and he was talking about doing his MBA. He recently introduced me to the Dean of the University of Miami for me to join forces and do my MBA also. I'm so busy with GrapeStars and the 3 kids at the house, but you know, I'm thinking a lot to do this. But Shareef doesn't need to be involved in any companies. You know, he's such a successful entrepreneur and so smart. Our meetings are powerful. And listen, at the end of the day, when you build a company, you need to have a network. You know, when you want to talk to someone, these guys like Shareef are very helpful. So I'm so pleased. I'm so pleased to build GrapeStars with our team and with quality advisors like Shareef.
Well, our listeners sure got a lot of wisdom today. I felt like they were just opening their hearts to us and just giving us all this also useful information for people in both industries, how he talked about the restaurant industry and how she talked about the entertainment world and what they've been doing. And hopefully people can learn a little bit there from them during these hard times. And as we finish out this show, John, you've been drinking something today. I'm not sure if that has anything to do with our giveaway for the end of the show, but if it does, please let me know. I think it's a hint. So what's going on today?
Well, listen, you know, I'm going to take the bottle. It's a very nice one. This is the new rosé from France of Post Malone. And I've been drinking is rosé since the last 2-3 days to taste it, and it's simply phenomenal. He arrived with a wonderful product, and I invite everybody to go at info@grapestars.com, take a screenshot of our app, send that to us. And I'm going to give the new bottle of one of the most famous singer of the industry right now. And that's it. I'm excited to, to drink this new rosé. Again, celebrities are embarking into this industry, and not because they are stars, that they have product that they're not good. Contrary, the product are phenomenal. They join forces with the best winemakers in the world. And as a French Canadian who speak French, c'est excellent, c'est délicieux, c'est fantastique.
Oh, I understood some of that. It sounded like it was delicious, fantastic, and excellent, something like that.
Exactly.
But, who would have thought? Post Malone. I'm actually a fan of Post Malone. He's a little wild. He's a little crazy character and everything, but he's himself. He's honest to himself. And it seems like he's really passionate about this when I've heard him speak about the rosé. And it's delicious. What more do you want? So again, let's make sure that everyone that does go take that screenshot and send that email also lets us know that it's for the Post Malone bottle. It's a gorgeous bottle. I mean, it looks beautiful. It's got a little bit of art on there, just like all the art he has all over his body. I'm sure that he's probably got that tattoo already on there. And, as we finish out the show, John, what a beautiful episode. I love these episodes where we talked a little bit of business, but I feel like we educated. We brought some wisdom. We hopefully entertained a little bit too. He said, Shareef is a very funny guy, and you are too. And I hope that our viewers loved it.
Yeah, like I said, for many years I was trying to, to find the best moment to go sit with him and involve him in our company. As a serial entrepreneur, you always want to surround yourself. But GrapeStars is a perfect fit, and I'm so happy to build this beautiful company that I adore. Anyway, what a beautiful morning. Cheers
That's
to
right.
that.
Cheers to that, John. Another wonderful episode.